that was about AI. Guys, we'll rush this through because I want to come to the next step and tell you how we can actually help you. Of course, Industry 4.0, yeah, and the word here is compulsion. It is no much a fad, it is a compulsion. It's a need now, okay? So typically what it means is all the things in blue that you see, okay, they're all existing physical infrastructure. So there is something called as a digital production that comes in which supports this particular thing, and that's what is Industry 4.0. Okay, the way you actually do this, all of those that you see in orange are the ones which converts an Industry 3.0 factory to an Industry 4.0 factory. Okay, so now, yeah, let's get on quickly. So typically a quick overview of the fourth industrial revolution. Initially, it all used to be village economy. A village used to have those, but it was an agriculture based. There used to be some skill based, like for example, there used to be somebody, a tailor, who used to ensure that the village needs were there. There were not much competition. You used to have a goldsmith, you used to have a blacksmith, things like that were very good. They were within that village and they were self-contained. But the whole shackles became, and the industrialization came in because of invention of steam engine. Okay, and then 1784, as the date says, steam became a part of power. Till then, it was horse carriages, and you had oxygen, ox, and some of those particular things which used to actually help you. But now steam replaced that. But still, on the x-axis that you see here, the blue color productivity was very low. This ran for majority for a lot of years, and then by 1870, if you see, almost 100 years later, 90 to 100 years later, the second industrial revolution came with the invention of power, energy, electricity, for example. So now suddenly this gave more capacity, and then suddenly things started becoming more, and the productivity went up much more. Then mid 1960s, subsequently, then the first time that computerization came in, and computers plus this made it much better, and then suddenly you see the productivity going up. And today we are in the Industry 3.0 revolution. Basically, we still use electricity. In certain cases, air is being used, pneumatic. Steam, of course, is being used less and less. Of course, there are certain areas where steam is still being consumed, basically. So we have a lot of robots now. All these are in the third revolution, basically. Now, what is it in the fourth revolution is you're simply bringing in internet into your business processes. And look at what is going to actually happen on the productivity. Boom. Whether we like or not, these shifts are actually happening. Below, you can see some of the principles of scientific management during the second industrialization, then total quality management, Lean, Six Sigma, all of these are in the third industrial revolution stage, but they are all not good enough. You are moving to the fourth industrial revolution, wherein you are bringing internet into your business processes. Right? What does that mean? We will go on to the next one, please. Okay, same kind of first, second, third, and fourth. What are the changes? And the point here is cyber physical system. Cyber is a synonym or this thing for internet, and internet and physical systems getting together helps this. So it is talking about new networks. That's how typically we talked about that RFID is a part of the fourth generation of industrialization. Basically, today we are seeing Wi-Fi. You tell me which house today does not have a Wi-Fi? One machine talking to the other machine. First time you do handshake. Subsequently, you don't have to worry. You walk out of the home outside the range, the connection gets cut off. You come back into the range, even without you knowing your Wi-Fi and your phone are talking to each other. So more and more these adoptions within organizations, within business processes, basically your machines talking to each other. Today, more and more, let us say AGVs, automated guided vehicles. It goes from one place to another place. It knows exactly where to go. Maybe a robotic arm will take a component, put it there, it goes to the next one, not necessarily in the lines, because we were all used to mass production. Now the concept of fourth generation is against mass production. This is more customized production. That's where the world is moving. Today, majority of our businesses are processed around mass production. Now, if you want to customize, you need to do this. That's where the fourth generation is becoming very critical, very important. Talk to any automobile parts manufacturer. The normal process was they used to sign a 3-year kind of a contract for volumes. First year so much. So you had projections. You could come back, you could increase capacities. And you wouldn't go wrong because you had contracts on hand. Today, those contracts have gone away because even they cannot estimate. Number of models are coming in more. Nobody is able to predict. Nobody is able to give you a contract. So hence the numbers have shrunk. Earlier, you start one product. It used to keep on running for 3 days, 4 days without a change across 3 shifts. Now, productivity was at its best. It was highly balanced. But now, if you look at it, those numbers are changed. If there is a switch over from one product to another product, if it takes 15 minutes to 30 minutes and you're changing 5 times in 8 hours, what's happening to your productivity? Hence, what happens to your profitability? All part manufacturing, especially the auto industry, things have changed. The rules of the game has changed. People still doing that kind of planning want to do this. No. Now, what does it mean? Your ability to change. Can you do few things? There was one metric which came in called as OEE, overall equipment effectiveness, which used to be something like 80-85% means you are the best. Toyotas, for example, 80, 87, 88, world-class organization. Today, with so much frequent changes, you can't do that. That metric is not good enough now. To survive, you need to do something else, and that's where the fourth generation is becoming very important. Yeah, let's get on to the next one. Yeah, this is this thing. Yeah, this is across the product life cycle. Look at this, guys. MSMEs struggle to get a customer. The cost of customer acquisition is so important. But later it becomes very transactional in nature. We are not able to move this into a partnership model. Why? Because the business ends after a transaction. Now it's only the auto industry. The moment they sell something, their life starts there. It does not end. Subsequently, there are models which engages. They have to come for service, blah, 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 etc. across the whole product life cycle. But majority of the others are not able to replicate this. A TV manufacturer, he does not even know who his customers are because he does not sell directly. It is through 3 different layers before the retailer actually sells. Some half-notched, the program wherein they come back and say, warranty, you please come and register. Wherein it's very low. You are not able to, maximize on that or monetize that. So now this is what this industry 4.0 actually helps, which is called as customer connect. Can you turn this around? Can you do few things? Yeah, let's get on. Now here are some of the technologies, typical technologies. It's not necessary that all of that has to be implemented in tandem. Even if you adopt one, you are actually following industry 4.0. You started your journey towards that. Of course, I'll start from there. Cloud computing, of course. Nobody has got these servers. You had so much amount of data. So many organizations have CNC machines. What are we doing with the data? We are not doing anything at all. Now, if the data is sent onto the cloud, you can actually do some processing out of that and make sense and get intelligence and get some insights. Mobile technologies, of course, having a mobile app or something like that. Machine to machine, as I was telling you, more machines need to talk to each other. Even though we have the same manufacturer, let us say 10 machines, CNC lathes, they still don't talk to each other. Yes, they can do within their particular machines, but two machines don't talk to each other. So we still don't have the benefit of having a smart machine or an intelligent machine. If you make them talk to each other, now you see there is a new dynamic that can actually come in. 3D printing. Today, if you look at any of those, if you're traveling or you have bought a suitcase in the last 3 to 6 months, you have that original typical product not available at all in the market. Everything has become carbon fiber today. You can twist, you can bend, it does not break. And the weight has come down. You can put in more clothes, especially people who travel abroad. Limitation of 22 kgs. 4.5 kgs used to be of the basic suitcase itself. Today it has come down to around 1.5 kgs. Now this is adoption. Can you do that? Can you do in your company? Can you print something? Of course. Can you print plastic components? Yes. Can you print steel? You can do. Can you print carbon fiber? Earlier, you need to have a lot of inventory. You need to do something, a small sample. Some customer has come back and says, please give me 5 samples. You never used to get that material. You had to buy a lot of material. And majority of them sits as inventory. So the cost of innovation or trying out new opportunities is not there. Today you can print 5, you can print 10, whatever is actually required for you. So a lot of innovation can actually happen. New product engineering, product substitute, material substitution. Can you do that? Of course. And all of these are extremely smart guys. If you ask me, every MSME should have a 3D printer with them. Just like how we have a normal printer for printing paper, which is going away now because everything is moving to digital. Our ability to create something very quickly, create samples, give it to customers, try to get those new things. We don't have to worry because these technologies, Nextech can actually help you do this. Okay. Same way, advanced robotics. We had robotics, but we need intelligent robotics now, right? Which can readjust, which can learn on its own. That's what we mean by advanced robotics. Of course, all of this spews tremendous amount of data. Okay, hence we need some basis to analyze this data, capability to analyze this data. This is majority of the times linked with cloud computing. Then of course, the most important is IoT, Internet of Things. Everything now, right? And this is one of the cornerstones. Okay, then RFID, we did talk about this. Cognitive computing, that is where artificial intelligence, AI, smartness, all of those particular things. And hence, all of these are exposed. You need what is called a cyber security to protect this particular data. And these are few technologies that has to be adopted either in one or many of them, depending on the use case, depending on the requirement of the organization. Yeah. Okay, benefits are here: efficiency, agility, innovation, improvement in customer satisfaction because you're customizing more. Yeah. Of course, reduces cost, dependencies on outside is reduced to a large extent. Of course, agility. Agility is ability to actually become, as I was telling you, you need to be so less importance on what do you call that, as a factory line, as they say, production line. You have 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines. 1 line is overused. Okay, because that's the most popular. There are other lines where there are no loads. These are some of the challenges, and that's where it hits the organization. If you bring in flexibility, suddenly you have more agility. You can handle various jobs, smaller jobs, and still get profitability. That's the whole idea is. Yeah. Okay, as I was telling you, interoperability. So it can't be in isolation. So two technologies have to talk to each other. Okay. Real time is another thing. We did talk about that. Decentralization, especially for an MSME. In fact, I am also an entrepreneur, guys. I know the same problem. If you don't build a team, then you are the center of everything. Everything comes on your shoulder. Now that is the problem. Where do you get talent? Now this is where, if you have technologies that are blended in decentralization, you are not under pressure. You don't need specialists. You bring in ordinary talent, give them some little bit of training. They can do extraordinary stuff because the technology takes over, and hence lot of headache is taken away from you. Otherwise, typically chairman to doorman, right? You are everything. A negotiation with the vendor, you have to be involved. A negotiation with the customer, you have to be involved. Tax person comes, you have to be involved. Go to the bank, you have to be involved. Everything is centered around you, and that becomes a limitation. And also the stress factor. Your bandwidth is crunched. You sit for half an hour, you meet a friend, and then you decide, let us go for lunch. That 1 hour is not just about eating lunch. It is in your mind, oh my God, I wasted 1 hour. You ಆ ಕೆಲಸ ಇತ್ತು, ಅದು ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಕೆಲಸ. It's always with guilt feeling. Just because you are an entrepreneur, should you also have guilt? No, right? So we need something where you also need to enjoy life, to be able to scale your business. And decentralization is one thing. This helps you in decentralization because you set the rules. These things will actually do as per the rules. It's not that it has broken the rule. It will never break the rule. Let me tell you that. Okay. Yeah. Let's get on to the next. Yeah. Virtualization, more and more visual. More and more things will actually start becoming visual. Okay. Modular can keep on increasing. You want to introduce one module, you take away one module. So that's how it is. Okay. You don't have to do the big bang. You can still work on it, bring in module wise. It's a question of how you approach this. Service oriented architecture, that's what we are talking about. Majority of the time we don't do that. We don't even charge them for services. They only look at the product. You get a contract for a product, but the associated services that you actually do, maybe it could be packing, specialized packing, blah blah blah, etc. Majority of the time is done free MSME. Sadly, we do that. Can we tweak this? Can we do something around this? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now the left side is what we had already seen. So there is a real world, which are the physical assets. And then there is a digital enterprise wherein all of this particular thing comes in along with Industry 4.0. So the only part that you see is the real part there. Everything else, digitization is already there a little bit in the real world. It will also interact with the digital enterprise. It will help you do a lot of things. You suddenly start becoming smart. Why? Because you have data. Today we don't have data. See, even today, if you look at it, you are extremely smart. You have a machine. When you went in, you know that it can be produced, 1,000 pieces can be produced per hour. But when you go there, somebody will come back and say, "Rar, ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ 600 ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಆಗೋದು." So finally, what do? You know in the back of your mind that you can produce 1,000, but somebody is coming back, his intelligence or his experience, or somebody is coming back and saying only 600. That's what you do. If you do 610, you think you are doing a great victory because somebody else is deciding. That's the limitation for you. Can data come back and predict this and say, what the hell? You can do that, man. Why only 1,000? You can do 1,100. Right? The question now here is all that will come helping us in strategy, helping us in various different things. Yeah. Okay. Typical, the digital world to the real world. That's where it starts with product design, which is in the digital world, and it can get on to the real world across suppliers. Now you see, you can be smart. Now, one of the opportunity I was talking about, big companies, when they are doing vendor assessments, which is a part of the process, right? At least once a year or twice a year, they give you vendor rating. That's what the whole thing is about. Okay? Now, they have all started asking MSMEs or its supplier base, what is your strategy on AI? Please give us a plan. When are you going to adopt AI within your organization? So there is also a market pressure, guys, because they are doing some kind of an initiative at the mother company side, and then it is all flowing down. So whether you like or not, the market is also pushing you to the. I was surprised. I spoke to so many of these vendors, and all of them are getting these questions now, saying that please tell us, have you started an AI initiative? Do you have a plan? If not, when are you going to implement this? How are you going to implement this? So now it has already started. So, it is no more nice to have. We need to actually get this. And the same thing with regarding to Industry 4.0. What are you doing? What are you, all of those particular things have started. Yeah, let's get on. Again, the skills required: critical thinking, real-time decision making, service orientation, then problem solving, cognitive intelligence or advanced analytics, then innovation, people management. All of those particular things are the skills required for an Industry 4.0 transformation. Okay.